Okay. Sorry for being 3 minutes late, guys. Welcome back. We are rolling into another regular Wednesday night live stream. Hello, Twitch. Hello, DLive. Hello, YouTube. Yes, I'm not using my main YouTube channel, sadly. I am using my friend Dean McRae's channel, Resolute TV. So thank you so much, guys, for coming on. Today I have Luke Izaak. For those of you who are not aware, he's actually an amazing musician. But additionally to that, he transitioned certain years ago into political speak and rhetoric. And so he has had definitely a great imprint in that space as well. It was he who was responsible for the Lauren Southern and Stefan Molyneux speaking tour that was so controversial. It shouldn't have been, but it was in 2018. He had, I think he's the first Australian I am personally aware of that lost his entire Facebook page known as That Guy Media. It had eons and eons of a back catalogue of interviews and all that kind of thing. And sadly, I suppose it wasn't backed up or something because he's lost a lot of those interviews. So help me welcome the wonderful Luke Izaak. Hello.
Thank you very much. Hello,
how was that intro?
Darkness, my old friend. How are you? Oh, I'm flattering. You avoided.
Well, I mean, you're my friend.
You avoided some of the more controversial elements. I guess the Lauren Southern thing was particularly controversial, but yeah, it's been a good 2 years since I've been called a Nazi, I think, publicly. So, you know, I was hoping to put a bit of distance between that and now, but now you've brought it up.
I wasn't trying to I didn't bring up that word. You chose to say that. I didn't even relate you to that. I simply said that you were, for those who don't know who you are. Stop it. Okay, you're baiting me and I took it. Sorry, I didn't realize what you were doing. Everyone does that to me. I'm clearly very easy to teach.
Yeah, that's right. That's fun. That's fun.
Okay,
yes,
well,
so,
yeah, go ahead. Speak.
No, you're the question. This is your show. You take it where you will, and I will do my best to behave. Okay,
well, I was just going to ensure that I start my show off with the Bible verse like I tend to do. So let me just get there. Okay, guys, today's Bible verse is from the book of Romans, chapter 12, verse 2. Do not conform to the pattern of this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Then you will be able to test and approve what God's will is, his good, pleasing, and perfect will. Okay, so we've stated what needed to be stated, and now we are going to start the interview officially. How has everything been since the time that your channel was completely removed from Facebook to now, in this weird time of pathogens in the air and government overreach? How has everything been for you?
Well, look, it's been a challenging time, you know, like I tapped out in 2018 shortly after the tour because health was a big one. You know, I have I guess an incurable health disorder, which is just a chronic pain issue, which I've had for a long time. And I guess the pressures of life and, you know, you can only be called slurred in the mainstream media one too many times before you just, how do I explain it? I should have been more prepared. I guess one of the biggest things was I thought I'd just run out of things to say, you know, because I genuinely wanted to encourage other people to speak the truth where they're at. And as you know, I'm temperamentally a liberal, right? And so when I had these ideations that were libertarian, conservative, whatever, based on evidence and fact, and that's so I thought, it's hard. It's hard because I didn't want to speak this. There are certain hard truths you don't want to speak, right? And that's our job as believers. It's our job as truth tellers and storytellers, is to tell the truth as best we know it. And it just became that zero-sum binary game. you're liberal or you're conservative or you're this or that, you're a communist or a Nazi
I'm beyond that now. My God.
And it's funny you say that because everyone is, and I didn't want to do this.
No. I'm sorry. That's not true. Not everyone is. There are still some people who think very much that way, and I think the people who are still in that school of thought. But they're in a cult. They're in a cult. They can't get out of it. We're not going to get into any of that. But most people like us who have grown since that time, yes, we are no longer in that thought of left, right. You're not allowed to say this against the right. You can't punch right. How dare you punch right? You can't provoke people on the right. You can't talk against Christians. How can you say that? You can only talk against the left. How dare you talk to a lefty privately? What are you doing? Nah. I'm not in that cult anymore.
I think it came a lot from the American experience too, right? Like,
I would say so.
Every the Shapiro, and God bless him. But at the end of the day, even Donald Trump Jr., I think Trump really smashed down a lot of those walls, which were what conservatives were supposed to do. Gosh, look at how many socialist endeavors he put into. Look how much he put into vets and healthcare, and he really, as a businessman, just did what he thought was, I believe, what he thought was the best for the country, and didn't really care if it looked too liberal or too conservative. He just pushed that thing forward, and that's where we were kind of at. But at the same time, it did get old.
Absolutely,
it did really get old. And look, good on you, and like people like you, and I don't want to put you in the same basket. I don't know where you guys are, but you and Hello and these people who just stayed going, and you just kept going and managed to eke your way. I couldn't. Like at that time, I just thought, look, my own mental health, my own physical health, spiritual health, I need, and that's the other thing. When you sort of get some sort of platform, as I did early on, it's difficult. Yeah, but then you're doing the Sky thing, and you're doing the mainstream thing, and then you're being asked, like, in 30 minutes, we're going to give you 10 talking points, and they're things you've never even considered. And so all of a sudden you're having to quickly research, I don't know, what's the conservative position on ... And you make a fool of yourself. And we see them every day. They're still on there, those same anchors, with respect to them. They're still on there looking for the opposing side.
They're not conservatives. They're centrists with conservative leanings.
Would say. Yeah, but again, it's just a big cult. So yeah, look, why now? Why am I back? I think we're running out of time, dude, frankly. And I have just enough in the tank. I'd rather be playing songs on my guitar and record. Like, honestly, this year, that's what I want to do. But you could not have
you and I were supposed to record together, but you never got back to me.
Sorry, please don't take it personally. It was an everybody thing, not you.
No, just kidding.
No, but why not? Because honestly, the way things are going right now, I think if we get to do this, then there's going to be a handful of us leading the way. Those of us who have some aptitude for music that decide to clump together as the unvaccinated crew. I don't know. Maybe we'd just be the unvaccinated. That's a good band name. Let's go for it.
Can I ask you to expand a little bit, please? Because I hate it when people like you say these things. It's not you. I hate it when Christians say these things because I'm operating on fear. I'm not going to lie. I'm not this amazing, brave Christian person. Yes, I feel like I've been chosen for something. There's a reason I've lost friends. There's a reason. I know that I've been chosen as an outsider. I've been an outsider my whole life. There's a reason I'm doing it, and I'm still trotting on doing it. And I think you're similar to me. You've always been a little bit of a misfit like me. But when people say we're running out of time, what the hell does that mean? Because every single Christian has a different take on it. I just spoke to someone today who thinks that Nero was the Antichrist, and that it's not, and that we're now living in a Christianized society. So tell me where you stand on that as a believer, because I'm only now reading the book of Revelations. I'm 12 chapters in. So because it's scared me. No, do you know what? I've avoided that book my whole life. And the only time I ever really got into it was during Bible study with my Sunday school teacher. So what do you mean when you say we're running out of time? Please elaborate.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I don't want to get into eschatological, theological positions on this.
Oh,
Because
we can
honestly,
a little bit. We can touch on it, but don't. Yeah, and that's
yeah,
not
sure,
like.
sure.
Yeah.
So for me, I grew up, and it didn't quite work out for me. But I grew up in the Presbyterian church, right? So we were amillennial, in that sense. And
amillennial. That's right. Post-millennial, amillennial.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. I didn't know the other term.
Yeah,
for it.
pre-mill, post-mill, a-mill, and then all the billions. No, I think honestly, anything is possible at this juncture. See, the way I see it, and I'm not putting any church spectrum on this, but the way I read scripture is that all prophecy comes in cycles, and every time that cycle, up until Christ, right, it becomes clearer. And then after that, as we see things happening, we see bigger and bigger events happening, and the cycles of prophecy become clearer. So whether this is the last cycle or it's just getting clearer to the next cycle, look, it's not for me to judge. We do know that it says just like in the days of Noah. We can go off on that tangent if we want, but we also know he says he's going to come like a thief in the night. So nobody's really going to be expecting that. So it doesn't really matter. We have to be ready at any time.
We have to be ready. Yes.
For him to go, right. And that's the most important thing. What I mean by running out of time is it's not a, we were talking about the liberal versus conservative thing. Like, I just think we're so past that. We're literally entering a period now of human versus post-human. And I know that sounds alarming.
I would say Satan versus, anyway, keep going.
Well, yeah. Yeah, so that's how clear these things are becoming. And you couldn't have told me, honestly, with this, when I was considering doing this Old Speak, like rebooting Old Speak again last year, and I wasn't quite ready. I was talking to some friends and getting some bumpers made and all that sort of stuff. And the bumper that you've seen, that first bumper, was just all, there's so much COVID-19 stuff in there, right? And I told the guy, Rick, I said, dude, I don't, look, too much. Can we put some more Snowden and Assange and some more, I don't know, drone footage? And can we do that? And he said, and he's like, he's in America, right? And he saw it long before I did, back when I was still freaking out in April, May last year that this is a real deal. He said, dude, you've got to see through the fear, man, and just see what this thing is. And when I launched, there could be nothing more apropos than that bumper, because it's like the eye of Horus. Like, there is nothing past this. Before, I mean, you remember before this thing? Like, I don't know how good your memory is, because it feels like this has been going on.
I remember you. I remember going to our casino to pick up your shoes because that was such a vital errand.
Oh, it was, though. They were like, oh, you're a legend. I forgot about that. Thank you. Oh, yes. Oh, speaking of, how is Emilio?
Well, Emilio lives in Perth now. He lives in Perth. We're friends. We're still friends, which is good. And I don't think I can speak any more on him. You're going to have to contact him privately. But, I'm going to give him a buzz. Yeah, there was that momentary blockage to our friendship, which you already know about, because of something that happened that upset him. Let's stay away from the past. Yeah. No, I'm just saying, but but he's doing really well, and he's as far as I'm aware, on a journey trying to find Christ, which I think is hard for someone of his ilk, and I'm going to leave that there. Because I don't know what people. I don't know what people know or don't know.
Nothing but a perfect gentleman. That guy's a legend. Yeah, that's great. All right, I'm glad.
When I visited him in Sydney. Oh, sorry. Yeah, okay. Let's go back to that. Yeah, go. No, go.
No, this is your show.
I was just gonna say when I visited him.
No, I was just saying, like, Sydney. Go. Sorry, the lag. Go.
Doesn't matter. It's not important. My private friendship with Emilio is not the topic of conversation today. So, tell me, okay, but before you continue what you're about to say, I did want to say something that the audience doesn't need to know what I'm referring to when I say this. I just want to say, though, it's so nice to see you happy.
Thank you. No worries. It's a work in progress, but thank you. Yeah.
I'm really pleased. I'm really pleased. You seem so happy, and with our phone conversations, I'm just really glad to see Like, you have a sparkle in your eye, and you have beautiful blue eyes, but you do have a sparkle in your eye, and I'm so glad that you've arrived where you are, because I know that would have taken a bit.
Thank you, and I hope the same happiness for you. I know it's around the corner.
Thank you.
Yes.
God,
no,
God bless
it's
you.
great. Like, we're only, it's funny because like you're only given as much as you can actually handle, and this is, I mean, we can get into that later, but yeah, it came at just the right time.
Yeah.
But
all right,
what we're talking
to
about, the past, right? So 15 months ago, 16 months ago, we had the Yellow Vest movement, right?
Oh,
we
yes,
had
that's right.
the court cases for, right? Remember that?
Yeah, that's so old.
Right, Taiwan was being surrounded. Exactly. Christians are being crucified and raped in Egypt, and Syria is being carpet bombed, and everywhere in the world had massive things going on. The Trump election was coming up. We had the Dominion voting scandal, Hunter Biden. We had, everything was there on the table, and all of a sudden, magically, gone. And the thing is, none of these things have actually gone away. Everybody's afraid, it's like that joke. Everybody in the audience has probably heard it. I was going to tell you a joke about COVID-19, that there's a 99% chance you won't get it. And it's like everything is just focused.
That's funny.
One point of light now, and everyone's afraid. Everyone's afraid of this thing, and nobody's talking about what's really going on in the world. And that's why I'm coming back now to just go, look, guys, if you're in my head, because my Telegram doesn't stop. My whistleblowing accounts haven't stopped. I couldn't look at them for a long time. But all the tips keep coming in, all the news tips, all of the people trying to share things and get news to me, and it's heartbreaking that nobody's talking about the real world right now. Everyone's talking about this fantasy land. Well, 12 months ago, you would have thought it was a fantasy land. Like, this is the most dystopian sci-fi thing that was kind of like the Amazon wish list of the global elite coming up for 2030, maybe Agenda 20. I don't know, but like this whole thing was just like
a 201.
Yeah,
Agenda 201.
Well, 2021, 2030, but but and the Great Reset and all the wonderful things that they had up their sleeve. Like, this was all their fantasy.
Come to life.
I find it fascinating that when you look at Alex Jones's like Endgame, when that looks like a 6 p.m. Discovery Channel documentary with David Attenborough, like, that's how normie that sort of stuff has become in 12 months. Yeah, you go, okay, it's time. It's time.
So can I just say that when you premiered your video recently, and then you were black and white, and it was very, very moody and like very atmospheric, and you're like, there is I'm not sure if you've heard of a mysterious pathogen in the air, and there is an antidote. It was, why did you premiere that at like 1 a.m., dude? The fact that I was awake is a rarity. That was late.
No,
that was a late
so
premiere.
Basically I had a Well, I've never really paid much attention to the ideal streaming times, which I probably should this time around. For me, it was literally a matter of, well, maybe you can help with that. But I literally had this self-imposed deadline that, thank you. That was going to be the date. That was going to be the time. And I absolutely had to do it then. And I woke up that day with a headache from hell. And I just thought, be well hydrated, do all the things, I'll get better. And it just didn't. It didn't. And come 9 o'clock that night, I thought I could put it off till tomorrow, or I'll do it today. And all I could feel was my pulse in my head, and I'm just sitting there with the camera on. My own uncle and other family members said, "You look sick." But apparently I picked up towards the end. But
I didn't watch the end.
I had to do it.
It was good.
Yeah, there you go.
It was really good, and I am glad that you're back.
It really wasn't. Thank you.
Well, no, I really am. I'm glad that you're back. Will you do interviews like what I'm still doing? What will be because you interviewed Lauren Southern, you interviewed Daisy Cousins, you've interviewed a lot of really high-profile names. You and I were some of the first, yeah. So what will you do?
Look, okay, so again, going back to the DNA of Old Speak, like the DNA of Old Speak is legitimately, you know a bit about me, right? So I grew up in a country town in regional Victoria. I was always the gayest straight guy in the group. I didn't do AFL.
I did think you were gay for the longest time until I realized you weren't.
That's because I just hung with all your old friends. That's right. Yeah, that's all right. They all love me. But no, yeah. But that's the thing. Like I wasn't an AFL guy. I did MMA before it was cool, right? I mean karate. And I did, I was always but not boxing and AFL. So that wasn't cool for me. I did musical theatre. I was in all the Eisteddfods with my. I loved reading, right? So
you're like the most homosexual straight guy that's ever existed.
I had that title for a while. Yeah, that's right. But I'm just allergic to that one piece. Anyway. So. Wow, this is live.
You're so gay and you don't even like boys. Yeah. No, you don't even like. That was out of tune. Yeah.
So I've always had, between music and my education was journalism. I've always had a very interesting, an access to all these wonderful people, and it wasn't by, I guess. What Victorian culture's like, the name dropping, and you get into that whole thing. But in reality, that's just my life. My parents had everyone from, they're first generation Christians. So like Keith Green style, no compromise all the way. And so they were misfits too, right? Dad's ex-Navy biker, he was a punk, he's a paramedic, mom's an academic, a nurse, the whole thing. And I always had these people who had heroin addicts through to barristers and surgeons in my house, and there was no class in my house. So it sort of set me up as I'd never understood class. I never understood the difference between Dunlops and Nikes. Like it just didn't make sense to me as a teenager. I just didn't get it. And then, so that sort of set me up really well in a way that when I'm always meeting people and being invited out to places, and I never had a problem getting access to people to interview or anything like that as a young kid or as a teenager. So it's kind of, you'll be holding a conversation around a barbecue and you just happen to think of something that somebody said and you say it and you go, hang on, people really are that voyeuristic.
I'm not laughing at you, sorry. I'm laughing at the background. There's a girl who's ducking down to try not be seen.
No way.
She bent down and ran across.
Did she actually, like the BBC guy?
Sorry, but keep going. I am listening. It did, but it's awesome. Don't worry about it. Keep going.
Thanks, Sarah.
My interviews aren't super professional. They're like laid back, kick back. Anyway,
I know.
Yeah.
That's. I'm so glad to be premiering with you. So I'm hoping for the softball questions. All right, where were we? I like this guy despite the Justin Bieber hair. Thank you, Jesse.
Yeah, he's awesome. And he also wrote this. Read that.
It sounds a bit like me, to be honest. Did you look? Oh, thanks, Jess. Jesse. Some not so kind people said that my haircut looked a little bit like a 20th century dictator from Germany when I was on Sky News one night.
Nah, I would disagree. I remember you were on Sky News, but I don't think you looked like that dictator. But that's okay. Anyway, all right.
Sorry, we're going to leave the past alone. Leave the past
No,
alone.
no, good. I like talking about the past.
He wrote a good book, didn't he? Called I'm Camp. Yeah. Anyway, we're going.
I haven't read his book, but I'm not opposed to reading it. But is it any good? As in, is it written well? I mean, obviously he says things that are controversial. Yeah.
Parts of it are great. Some of it's controversial. Some of it, I love reading pieces of that, and the Communist Manifesto just out because I'm a sadist. But you
You're
just read it out, and
learning,
people go, "That's really good," and you go, "Prank." You know what I just? Yeah. No. Look. So where was I? The whole thing is I never had. Okay. So people are that voyeuristic. The whole purpose of Old Speak is there are certain people out there that they're always contacting, and this is not you, please don't take this the wrong way, but they always want somebody's phone number because they saw them on the television, right?
Oh, okay.
And
sure.
the whole thing started becoming a little bit like the music industry days, so could I please, and I just, oh gosh, it's exhausting.
I'm you
What I want Old
in
Speak
that
to
scenario.
be.
I'm that person
Sorry.
that people keep. I'm you in that scenario. I'm always the one connecting people, introducing people. Yeah. Sorry. Anyway, keep going. I get it. Is my point. I get it.
And it's fine, But the reality is, to a point. The reality to me is that the way I want Old Speak to be this time around, and I would like to be pulled up here and there if that's okay, is to keep it where it's a voyeuristic. So basically, Old Speak is my opinion. It's whatever I want to put on there, and that's fine because it's my show. And if you want to come and join in, that's great. And if you don't, then go away, because I can't keep up an act anymore of trying to look interesting and famous. I don't want that. And so I want the 88-year-old nurse through to the person anywhere around the world. So anybody who's in my life, anybody that I have an interesting conversation with, half of those can be shared for the world to listen to, because they say yes. And it's not going to be, and I think that's one thing that you've always done. Whereas other people in this space they always have to have the high profile guests. And the problem is most of those high profile guests have a 4-year term in a particular governmental institution, and then we're never going to hear from them again anyway. So who cares? At the end of the day, I'm not interested in politicians for the sake of politicians. I'm interested in interesting people, which is increasingly becoming a mother and a father and their kids. It's becoming less like politicians.
I do know what you're saying. And so this time around, you just want to interview fascinating individuals rather than high-profile individuals.
People that I find interesting.
Yes, I'm the same. That's what I've been doing lately.
Yeah.
Lately, I've had, I had Ricardo on, I had Edwin and Ray on, but then I had an Instagrammer on, and people loved that conversation. I had people texting me saying, "Oh, your interview with that Instagrammer, wow, she's so great, like she's so smart," and no one else knew her. And even like a year or two ago, I had a former Satanist who was a Mormon, then he was a Satanist. He was a white supremacist, and then he finally came around to finding a life with Christ. And he wasn't high profile; he was just an interesting character, and that's what I want. That's all I've been seeking. Yeah, sure, let's get the high profile people here and there. Let's get certain doctors on who go against the government narrative and all that kind of stuff. But there are other stories to tell right now. Like I don't want to immerse myself in the depression that is that topic of, the mysterious pathogen in the air. So so I love that you want to do that. And so
discovered in 2019.
Exactly. So who do you have you got anyone lined up? Or is it right now just playing? You do?
No, I do. I've got too many people lined up for my stamina. That's
wow. Jelly.
Well, because I broke down that expectancy for myself that they had to be, people like we just spoke about. Yeah, there are so many people. And I don't want to bust it now, but we're getting into some pretty interesting issues, like these towers that are popping up all over the place at the moment, and what their radioactive benefits or lack thereof might be to our human biology. I've got an expert on that. I've got former military, current military people who are giving their take, police. And they're just people that I know, right? They're not, and I just think
that's this guy.
People want
this guy here, Jesse Bell. He's been on my show 3 times. He's former military. I have him on quite often, actually.
Ah, right.
So if you ever want him,
well, you got please. Yeah, because my family's a little deep in that, in the military, Jesse, and so we're going to know a lot of the same people, and unfortunately, they're
I'm happy
being
for the
misused again right now. For
here in New South Wales,
Sydney. Wow.
Mm.
Yeah. So the rest of the year is going to look fairly interesting, and I don't know how long we're going to be allowed to speak. To be fair, but my whole
digital blackout.
I'm putting all in here. I'm putting everything on the line here. I'm starting again at zero. When I got knocked out in 2017, before it was cool, I had a fairly decent following, and
you did, yeah.
It did me a favor. I think it just probably heightened or sped up the what was going to happen anyway after that tour in 2018, and that was just take a break. But I'm completely back until death do I pass from this.
Absolutely. Sphere. Do you think there will be digital blackouts, and that specific people like you and myself will be stopped, or do you think it'll be like an Australia-wide thing, or do you think it'll just be that town it just happened to that town and then they'll get it back, because people need electricity? I mean, they didn't always need it, but these days it's a requirement, really.
Well, where I live, actually, it was interesting. A month and a half ago, we had very, very severe wind storms which knocked out the power, the mobile tower, the Telstra mobile tower in town, and it was crazy. There was no power in some places for 8 days. I think we had 5 days without power, and how'd you handle it? We're talking about a first world country, right? Well, in the winter it wasn't great. I'm glad I have a wood fire, but it was heavy. And look, it was an interesting thing to think that in a first world country, the trains in Victoria are constantly stopping. The tracks are always being worked on, so therefore everybody's being. I was a month and a half ago, or a month ago. Mental blank. Sorry, Footscray Station. I had to wait there for a connection for 2 hours in the rain with a bunch of other people for a coach connections, and this is happening all the time. Now, when the mobile phone receptor, the Telstra tower got knocked out for a week, where I am, trust me, where I'm living is not a poor place. Okay, so I'm not wealthy. I'm just blessed where I am, but like it's a very wealthy place, and so people are dealing with this. And the kangaroos had reclaimed the town. It was insane.
Oh, nice!
And I'm just
crazy.
Yeah, that was beautiful. Kids were playing in the street, not on their Nintendo Switches, and it was really, really cool. But I just thought, no trains. But most of the roads are closed because of the wind. No power, and the elderly. So it's all well and good for the government to subsidise split systems, but they would do absolutely nothing when there's no power. Right? And I just thought, why is this happening? Why were over 500 private tree loppers and engineers called in to deal with the tracks, with the power, with this? And I'm thinking, well, because we privatized everything. Okay, so it's nobody's responsibility to have working essential services. Things that our parents and grandparents paid for out of their taxes before they were sold overseas. And now all of a sudden, a first world country is worse than Mumbai, where we just don't have anything like this for a week. This is not going to get any better after the pathogen that's going around and the trillions of dollars that are just being blown globally. Just think of how much we've spent on this joke. Now,
I know,
over 10,000 jobs being lost per day. Where are we going to repair our infrastructure now?
Well, that's what they're saying, that they're going to crypto. They're going to bring in cryptocurrency. You still rely on one human. Are you going to get the antidote to this pathogen? Are you going to have
Not willingly.
Abjade? Not willingly, yeah.
Not willingly. No, look, I already had it. And look, as I said in my launch, like I have a friend who was genuinely concerned. I never said a thing, But he was genuinely concerned that I might not be his friend after,
I
3
remember.
decades of knowing the guy, because he got it. And I thought, only the media have actually convinced him that we're divided. Look, I have some pretty strong reasons for not getting it, and health is one of them. But
yes,
come on,
we are divided though. There. You said some time ago that you get a few people looking at you, a couple of Karens. I went to the supermarket literally before we started this interview. I was at the supermarket. I was at Woolies, which I'm trying not to go to Woolies. I'm trying to go to only local places. But at this time of night, I went there. I bought what I needed to buy. I checked in, and then they're like, "Oh, I didn't check in. I just held it up and I did that, and then I walked."
Oh, sorry, you held it up.
I checked in, is what I said.
Just take a selfie in front of them, make it obvious. Yeah, good.
No, I checked in, and then she's like, "What about your mask?" And then I held up. I just did this. I just went like that, and then I kept walking, and then I was good to go. That is a genuine piece of paper, by the way. It's statutory declaration right there. But people could just literally just do that and keep walking. Just hold up an A4 piece of paper and keep walking.
Yeah.
And I paid cash. So I don't want people to know.
Then attach it to a wallet. It is insane. It is literally insane. Who would have thought, because I was alive, I was a child, but 1995 listening to, I don't know, Oasis, Wonderwall or something.
Oh, okay,
Spice Girls.
Our music was different.
No, it was the same. Pretty much the same. I just remember it better. I was older.
Exactly.
But who would have thought that you'd have the launch of my Windows 95 with Bill Gates and all that sort of stuff, and me saying to my friend, this guy's literally going to divide us. We're not going to be able to be friends anymore because he's going. How's he going to do that? Is he going to basically? Is it tech? No, medical tyranny. He's going to convince everybody that they need to get a vaccine, and he's going to and he's going to buy up. He's going to grow up, buy up all the agricultural land in the United States in 2020. No, he's not going to do that. How's he going? Is he going to become a doctor or something, or a virologist? No, but he's going to be able to do it. It's like nothing in the last year is anything but dystopian weirdness.
Yeah.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense.
Well, it doesn't. It's like where it's what was it? Daisy Cousins wrote it today, and I shared it like as if it was my Instagram. I mean, I made sure that her face showed up, but what did she write? This is what Daisy Cousins wrote. She wrote, just a reminder that the 633 spicy flu cases, she used the word, I'm saying spicy flu for a reason, in New South Wales today make up only 0.0077% of the New South Wales population of 8.2 million. Please reflect on that whenever you see politicians and media trying to breathlessly hype all of this up as a crisis. This is why the rest of the world laughs at us. It doesn't make sense. You say it does, but it doesn't make sense. We shouldn't be locked down. Our country's borders, I'm surprised Lauren Southern was able to leave Australia to go to Canada. I'm grateful that she was able to get there, see her family, and they can finally meet her son. But we are closed. We are a closed off country. None of it makes sense. I don't believe those stats that Daisy shared anyway, not her. I don't believe what we're told about the stats, but generally speaking, I don't even.
If you've read Agenda 21, if you read Agenda 23, I mean, it all makes sense.
I read Agenda 21.
Yeah, okay. It makes sense then, right?
Well, it makes sense in the grand scheme of the evil plan and agenda, but it doesn't make sense.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
But who wants to talk about that? Yeah, no. So I know what you're saying, right? Okay, sorry. So we're talking normal talk again.
Dude,
it's impossible. All right, hang on. You've got comments. What are the comments saying?
There's a whole bunch of them, but there's no real questions. The only question is this one. Have you been told, Luke, that you are very similar in looks and voice to Cillian Murphy? Cillian Murphy.
Cillian.
Okay, I didn't even know who that is.
God bless you. God bless you. Yes, no, thank you. I have that and Ewan McGregor, and it's just unreal. I don't know why, but that's an honor. Thank you. Same,
Why did you
stock.
get?
I'm Irish, so there you go.
You're Irish, of course. There's another question. Why were you deplatformed? I think this person came late. Why did Facebook deplatform your that guy media page?
Okay, so well, you remember this? Do you want to? So,
I remember. I was around for it. Yeah, I was on the phone to you.
Yeah.
Morons.
Mm-hmm.
Morons.
So back in 2017, before it was cool, this thing happened. There was a guy by the name of Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson, who was arrested unjustly and put into a prison with a 98.2% Muslim population. That wouldn't be good for him because at the time he was reporting on grooming gangs, which happened to be all Muslim at the time. And when that happened, they tried to put him into this prison to maybe have him, I don't know, Sean, what's his name? Oh, this is so bad. Sorry, I'm tired. To have him Epstein, basically. To have him Epstein. Yeah. Before Epstein was a thing. And it didn't happen. Yeah. And so I was reporting on this on Facebook. There was a press ban in the UK, but nowhere else. But Facebook took it upon themselves to say that what I was, even though Breitbart published it and then took it down, all of these companies were terrified. All these media organizations. So like we had an Outsiders episode ready to go on this thing with when Ross was still there and Rowan, and they were the only one to start.
Yeah.
Ross, yes, he's a great guy, isn't he? I spoke to him the other night for the first time in a while.
That's how he talks.
Sorry, Tommy Robinson.
Tommy.
Yes, he's very reflective. Yeah, so Tommy Robinson. Tommy Robinson got me booted. No, I was just reporting on that, and then they took it upon themselves. But yeah, also Outsiders. Literally an hour before the show, we had everything ready to go. We were going to report on the fact that he was unpersoned from the UK, put in a prison that very few people knew where he was. They were told, the legal department came to them an hour before the show and said, no, kill it. Because they were being rebroadcast on the Australia channel in the UK, legal said they're not allowed to do anything on Tommy Robinson either. So yeah, that hurt. And when I tried to appeal, this was before there was the whole process. They just said your page is unpublished for this reason, and they didn't have a bar of it. So
I was so sad for you. I was so sad for you. I remember you said, "Did you ever download one of my shows?" And I'm like, "Oh, I didn't. I felt like my heart was broken for you."
But no, thank you. It was. But here's the deal. At that time, because you remember what I was talking about, like it was pretty normy stuff. We had Simon Roche, we were talking about Sightlanders off the back of Borderlands. We had all, like, it was more conservative stuff, but it was more mainstream-esque stuff, right? Even pre-Trump, it was along the conservative lines, mostly.
For sure, it really was.
There was nothing extreme on there. Like you look at who's allowed on Facebook now. And not being deplatformed. Like it was, yeah, it was pretty normal stuff. And the thing that amazed me with the deplatforming was even my friends, like even people I won't mention here, but people we all know, were going, well, you must have done something wrong because they don't just ban you. They don't just, I'm just like, yes, but they did. Like they did. And I'm sending them all the screenshots of what happened. Yeah, but you must have broken some law. There must be some law that says it's a press ban. And I'm just going, oh, just wait. It's going to come for you too. Lo and behold, shock and horror a year later when they made a sport out of deplatforming everybody. And then, up to the point where they can entirely deplatform President of the United States of America, and people, hang on. Are you there?
I can see you. You stopped moving for a while, but then I heard you say up to the point where they can.
Yeah. You disappeared. Yeah.
Platform the United States of the President of the United States of America.
Yeah.
Hello.
And it's hello.
All right. I'm gonna refresh my screen. So.
Am I back?
Yes. And what I heard was up
Hello.
to the point
All
where
right.
they can deplatform the president of the United States of America. That's what you said.
Yeah, the president of the United States, and now it's so normal that everybody's scrambling to find alternative outlets for their media. So yeah, look, my new page, which launches next week, oldspeak.tv, first plug of the night. It has contingencies everywhere, right? So when it's deleted off one, there will be mirrors and what have you. But
I am your cheerleader. I will, not that I have an amazingly big platform, but I am happy to share it on all of my social media for you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
if you become, if you regain your audience, or even if you don't regain your audience, I'm happy to be a subject for you to interview, because you owe me an interview. Yeah, guys watching at home, this is what happened. I'm going to shame him now, because I was supposed to be interviewed by him, but then someone more important called, and then he never interviewed me. Just, it still hurts. Still hurts.
So what happened? The whole thing with the past, we leave the past where it belongs. I'm
no,
sure.
No. I don't leave the past where it belongs. I forgive everything. Literally, I forgive people manipulating me, making me do bad. Not making me, because I still participate.
But still,
so the accountability.
You're a woman.
I remember.
That's right. A Latin one at that.
Latina, sí, señor.
Yeah.
But anyone else have questions? I just wanted to also say to you, because Jesse from the comment section, my moderator, was telling me the other day, it was like 2 weeks ago, this guy here, former military man, that if you're afraid, sorry, that's not the comment I wanted you to read. Oh, actually, I haven't even read that. May I ask that you do the manly thing and come back and speak out? You clearly have the gift. I can get veterans to protect you. I don't know if he's talking to you. But anyway, if you want veterans, he can give you veterans. Himself. Yeah, but anyway.
Well, give him my
your number.
Oh my gosh.
You don't even answer me when I text you. You're better on Instagram than on the phone. Is your phone number the same?
No, maybe not.
Maybe not. Okay. Well, anyway.
After the show. I'm not going to read it out here, did it?
No. I wasn't implying that. I was going to say though that oh my gosh, I lost it.
Me, thank you, Jesse. Sorry.
I was going to say, Jesse was saying that a good idea would be to have a generator. So if you're afraid that that Australian government will cut off our electricity and our Wi-Fi and all that kind of stuff, get a generator. Get an electrical generator.
I don't think they want. Look, I don't think they want to do that.
It's possible.
Because we have these incredible these things. Well, there's EMPs and there's all that sort of stuff that can happen. But to be fair, unless you're a vulnerable population, I think that could. Look, I'm about to do an episode with a microwave expert, right? And on the nature of these wonderful martial law towers that are being built all over the place, right?
Interesting.
So this gentleman has been here since the Cold War, and this gentleman has some very interesting research to say on this.
Oh my gosh, is he Russian? I feel like I might know who it is. Oh, okay.
No, he's not.
Okay. You stole my idea. I was going to do that.
He worked during the Cold War on this particular thing.
I'll stop talking.
Oh, yeah. So basically, they need the power for this, right? I mean, having the power cut would probably be the best thing in the world. But yes, no, thanks, Jesse. Absolutely. I'd love to meet you. That'd be great, because the more vets, the better in the world that I believe we're coming into.
I'll hook you up with Jesse.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
I don't see one, but he said that he was talking to you. He said this question. He wrote further down that this question was to you. May I ask you to do the manly thing and come and speak out? Speak out on what though? But Jesse was on my show.
Manly in Sydney, or be masculine? Like I'm wondering what he's asking me to do.
I don't know. He'll need to Jesse, please rewrite the question, because none of us understand what the hell you're talking about. But Jesse,
do you want me to go to Sydney, or do you want me to man up? Because that's.
I don't know what he's saying. Yeah. But he came on one of my shows with 3 other men. all who were
Oh, lucky you.
no, all who were military men except for one of them, and they all have PTSD. Because a lot of vets get PTSD because they see things that we would never see. Additional, I'm not saying Jesse Bell has PTSD. He was part of the show that was about that. Additionally, it's really, really sad to learn that our military men in Australia, but then I realize it's not just Australia, but in Australia, are not taken care of after they leave. So they serve their country, and then they get nothing after. They'll get a discount here and there. They commit suicide more than any other group. So that might be a show you want to do, and Jesse would
I would
be
love to do that show, in fact, because during this period, the last 15 months, my cousin, also a vet, my age, he took his own life, and it's a very big deal for me. Oh, mate,
dude,
look,
I'm sorry.
I know what Jesse's talking about, and I've been surrounded by it my whole life. And Jesse, we're going to know a lot of the same people. I have I really struggled because I spent between 2001 and 2006. My first major red pill was a certain war. And I had written countless articles and spoken on countless things that believing the mainline narrative about why we were there, and it was an absolute shit show. And what our politicians have made our best and brightest do overseas and continue to do is unforgivable. And there's no reason why you guys, look, I've got family members and friends who keep going back just because, one, they can't fit into civvy life here anymore, and two, if they don't go back and watch their brother's backs, nobody else is. That's the only reason they go. Not because they believe in the cause of aluminium and weapons of mass destruction. No, they're going to watch their brothers because nobody else. They know when they get back here, the government won't. They know when they get back here, their own family members won't, and everybody, including myself, who believes that whole war's a shit show, cannot possibly wrap their head around what they're doing.
Listen, I didn't know that about you. I've known you for years. You never mentioned that. With Jesse, I speak to him almost as much as I used to speak to you. He's my new you. But anyway.
I knew you.
But sometimes I can't, I feel horrible.
I've got a new
Luke. But I hate talking to Jesse sometimes because it's like, hey, mate, sorry, I'm not in a good mood today. Oh, why is that, Jesse? Another mate of mine killed himself. Do you know how often he says that? It's too often. It's like 16 times. It's like,
no.
It's horrible. It's horrible. And my heart goes out. I can't do anything. All I can do is talk about it on a show. I did one show on it. I would love to do a documentary on it. I would love to do more on it because it's a topic that does not get spoken about in Australia.
Well, Jesse, if you've got some, I mean, you know a lot more than me.
Well, you've been around it more than me.
Done OPSEC stuff. We can talk about the OPSEC stuff and stuff that I've had a part in off the show. But you, mate, like I'm going to do an interview. Actually, I'm going to pull this one forward with somebody you may know, a Commando 2nd Regiment guy. I'm going to do that interview actually sooner than I intended. And if you've got some stuff that you think really needs speaking about and needs to be explained to the Australian public about this deal, let me know, because this guy is very well respected, and you'll know who he is. Let's pull that one forward because it's apropos.
I'll interview him in the next 2 weeks. If you want.
The same military, like these guys that I'm talking about here, are gutted that the government will use them on the streets of Sydney. And fast forward the next 3 months, they're going to use them on the rest of the country too. And this must end, because I know you guys don't want to do this. And yeah, we need to talk about that. I mean, what a way to end. You've been in Kabul, you've been in Baghdad, you've been in, anyway, let's not go there. But you've been in Timor, you've been wherever you've been, you come back to round up your own city. Yeah, wow.
But okay, Ricardo Bossi on my show a couple of weeks ago, which you said you saw, or at least you were aware of it. and Jesse also on the phone. Both of them said the same thing. Do you know what that is? That you are allowed to decline doing that because it actually, and many of them don't know that. Many of them don't know that you can decline and be like, actually, I'm here to serve my country, not be a draconian source. The draconian, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm not articulating myself very well. Anyway, long story short, they can decline and they should decline, but a lot of them don't know that.
Okay, right.
Yeah. And that's what I find it funny. Jesse really likes you. I think he has a man crush.
Well, he's military, dude. If I was that way inclined, you know, I'm sure there would be military. I don't know. I actually don't know.
He's married to a Japanese lovely lady.
And you had to, you and your ethnicities, obsessed. You're obsessed.
Oh, I am obsessed.
You're still obsessed with ethnicity.
I am, because I find it interesting.
You do now. You do now.
What do you mean? I find people's backgrounds interesting. Stop it. Leave me alone. Didn't you date a Latina some time ago?
Me? I nearly married one.
You dated a Colombian, didn't you? You married a Colombian?
No, not a Colombian.
No, it wasn't a Colombian. Sorry. I just made that up then. Sorry.
No. I'm a Mexican, Nilly.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh yeah, it's funny when you think about it, but yeah, no, it's we'll get into that off air.
Oh yeah, we won't talk about that on camera. All right. So, does anyone in the audience have more questions? Because at the moment, I just feel like Luke and I are catching up like old times, and you know.
That's old speak. Let's do it.
Let's speak. What do you think of the people in the cyber world right now in these political spaces? For example, Ricardo. For example, Evelyn Ray. For example, Dave Pellos. For example, there's all these different names I could throw at you. But what do you think of what certain people are doing? I already know what you think about what I'm doing because you told me off camera. We're not going to talk about that on camera because then it's like I'm showing off. No,
oh look, okay. But, to be fair, like Evelyn wasn't around when I left. I don't think. Like a lot of people have popped up. Like Carnage House, how cool are they? Like all these people have just like popped up.
Carnage House are the best. And I love them. They're my friends.
Yeah. And I'm so glad because as I said in my first episode years ago, it's just like if I can just like it's nothing to do with me, but if I could just inspire half a dozen people to do what I do better, then my work is done and I can ride off into the sunset. Sadly, I left because I was exhausted. I don't know where these people get their stamina. One, I don't know. I'm deeply suspicious of anybody who's looking for a spotlight, right? Because I've been in that place, yeah,
for sure.
In music, and then, ironically, when I just wanted to speak the truth, it found me again, and you know. But then, as you start figuring people out and what they're about, I don't know. I'm suspicious of people's angles, and I don't like team speak. You know, the whole Republicans, you know, and you know that whole thing. So
that's the cult. That's the cult we were talking about earlier. I'm not in that cult. Yeah. Oh, I don't speak for the left. I don't speak for the right. You're not allowed to speak to the lefties. You shouldn't punch right. F off. If you think like that, you're in a cult. Continue. Sorry. That's a rant that I always have. Yeah.
No, and this is where I'm at now. So basically, when we're talking about what's upcoming, we're talking about human versus post-human, and I mean that. I was saying this the other day to somebody. It's like it's hilarious how, you know, the pro everything to do with this pathogen, pro everything the government says, pro everything that the medicine is supposed to be, pro, and they are constantly on the internet insulting everybody who doesn't follow the line. Why doesn't it work? Because genuinely, if you had any form of empathy and you weren't a total sociopath or a narcissist, and you were genuinely, it's like they're talking to somebody with Down syndrome, right? Let's go there. They're punching down. If you genuinely thought that your friend was doing something that was going to do them extreme harm by not taking their medicine, like they're about to fall off a cliff, and you're insulting and spitting at them, I think that's why the programming is breaking apart for some people. You're basically punching the poor person within an intellectual disability, right? And
Yeah.
and so everyone who does this is why Fallon is no longer funny. You know, this is why Colbert and all they're no longer funny, because they're simultaneously saying you're not as educated as me, you're not as intelligent as me, you're not as this as me, that as me, and they're still punching down. The very
You don't mean
thing.
Fallon. You mean Kimmel. Fallon's funny. Kimmel's the arrogant prick.
No,
Fallon's okay.
he was funny. He was funny.
Okay.
I mean,
Apologies.
he might be. I don't know. I haven't
Kimmel
watched him. I haven't watched him since after Trump, was removed from office. But
yeah.
the last week, even leading up to that, he had this like 5-day growth. He looked hungover. Well, it's Fallon, so of course he was hungover. And he was just basically telling the worst jokes you ever heard. That guy had talent, man. Like real talent. And then he just hated his life. You could just see it. He's just telling the same anti-Trump jokes the whole time. I mean, they have a team of 37 writers or something like that, and nothing was funny. And I'm just...
The worst is Stephen Colbert. Uh-oh. Hello? Hello?
Like, they just sold their souls. I hope one day... Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Hello?
Go ahead.
All right. Yeah, I mean, I hope one day maybe I can turn on the television again and something will be funny, but for now I just keep the aerial cable unplugged. I only watch anything on a streaming service.
Why don't you tune into, and again, I hate saying this because I'm not in a cult, but you have the left, the right, and all that crap. Why don't you tune into like the Daily Wire, and you can watch Clavin, and you can watch Candace Owens. Those shows are actually not bad.
I think it's great. I just, for my headspace, look, so the way I am is I'm severely ADHD. I didn't know that until my mid-20s, right? And so if I have a subject, so any subject, I obsess over it. I hyper-focus on it to death, and then I have to leave it behind, right? Whatever the thing is. And I just find the noise, like when I was back doing this last time, again, that when Ray, or I'm not going to drop names, but when somebody's going to call you and ask for your opinion, and you've literally got, a day or 20 minutes or an hour on 10 subjects, you just constantly, all your spare time is watching Crowder and Shapiro and like everything that's going on, and then you're reading. They're great people too, like Paul Craig Roberts.
I stopped watching Crowder ages ago. Yeah.
Yeah, but you're watching what everybody else is doing. And it's funny because in music, I didn't do that. Growing up in the country, the reason we evolved so fast in what I was doing was because we weren't going from Thursday to Sunday night to all of our friends' gigs. We just did what we did constantly, rehearsed all the time, and like we came up with a sound, and I came up with what I did completely unpolluted by everybody. We weren't subconsciously competing with everybody. Yeah, and this is a thing. You find yourself when you're watching everybody else's stuff, you don't have time to make your own. So yeah, that's basically me. I enjoy. Sorry, go.
No. You enjoy? You're the guest. You enjoy what?
The sound of my own voice, clearly.
Well, I was going to say that at the moment, I have 2 jobs. I have 2 jobs right now, casual to both.
Wow.
And I haven't been called in this week. So when I'm not called in to either one of these 2 jobs because of the state that Sydney is in at the moment, I watch a lot of Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. I watch a lot of anime, or I watch a lot of like the Justice League. And at the moment, I'm reading the Book of Revelations as well, and I'm checking out.
Oh my gosh! Yeah, don't conflate those. Whatever you do, Dragon Ball Z and Revelation.
But the point is that like you can't consume everything at the moment. You need happiness, you need silly things, you need to talk on the phone to your mom, you need to talk to your girlfriends. Do you know what I mean? Like do you have like, I mean, if I was at home with my parents, which I'm not, I would be watching like the Brady Bunch. I'd be watching my old DVD series of things that just make me like I just want to be happy, like, and I don't want people to like drag me down by saying in 2 years we'll all be dead, the Antichrist is just around the corner. It's like,
Oh,
Christians are supposed to be gone before the Antichrist even comes. So stop saying that. It's like, it's exhausting.
Well, look,
it's
for
like
me, no,
cartoons.
that's right. Yeah.
What do you immerse yourself with? Tell me.
I've always said, okay, so I'm surrounded by a lot of creation,
Very
which is
good.
really good, that I can see. Aside from it being freezing, I read. Like I've spent the last couple of years trying to ground myself again. You know, prayer, meditation. I enjoy that. You know, just picking up the guitar and having a strum for the first time. Like recently, it's the first time I've done it in a long time. But writing and reading is basically it. And then the day's over. Like, you know, apart from the work I have to do, like there's the days fill up fairly quickly with your project, and I can't consume what everybody else is doing all the time anymore. No stamina.
No stamina. You're young. You act like you're in your 50s, or even like you're not even in your 40s. Are you in your 40s? No, you're not.
No, but it doesn't matter.
My point is, you're young, you have stamina. You still have it. You're acting like it's not there.
You talk about happiness. Yeah, happiness. Yeah. Peace. I work at peace. Happiness is too tall an order for me.
Let's say contentment.
Contentment. I love that.
Is that a better word?
That's better.
Because I certainly have a lot of contentment. I'm sad that I'm not close to my family, but what does it matter right now that I'm not with them, because they're doing the 5 kilometer radius crap as well. Like it's
ignore it, it'll go away. Hey, I've just seen some of these. Hello, Margaret. Oh,
yeah,
great. I just saw the comments now.
What do you mean?
There's a tab. Sorry, guys.
Have you been in the wrong tab this whole time?
I didn't. Yes.
Sorry. You dumbo.
Okay. This is the first time I've been on here. Oh, there you go. All right. There you go. Well, you're supposed to be telling me about this stuff.
Yeah, but there are no questions. These are just people commenting. Oh, hang on. Here we go. Here's a question. There is a lot of bullshit on alt media. It can do one's head in at times. We know what we know what we know, no? Do we need peer-reviewed scientific studies for everything? Oh, that's a good question. And I actually shared a video on my Instagram about peer-reviewed papers. But yeah, go ahead, respond to that. That's a great question. It's definitely a thing at the moment.
Look, Jessica, I'm a journalist, right? And there's not a whole lot of them on the mainstream media anymore. So like for me,
that's true.
You get this stuff all the time. No, correct. So you get a lot of this stuff all the time. And anyway, the first thing I check, did A actually say that to B? And then go and verify it. If it didn't happen, it didn't happen. If it did happen, what was the context? And it's not hard. I think most people are more intelligent than that, especially when it comes. It's one thing to be libelous and gossipy about things. And it's another thing to sit around and talk conspiracy theories. That's also fun. But when it gets to brass tacks, like we're at now, if this last year has taught us anything, it's that there are things worse than death. And so if people are going to actually move on something, i.e. maybe lose their job for attending a particular gathering in the city and being photographed and or arrested, it's because they genuinely believe what they're doing to be right? And I think, and to have merit. So I remember when Pete Evans just was completely slammed by the media, and I'm going, I remember that dude from some socials. Like, he was not crazy. What made him go? This is before I understood what the particular pathogen was about, and I'm like going, did this dude literally just have a psychotic break in the last 12 months? Because he was never like that. This is a very shrewd businessman, very well loved and respected, very clear-headed. And yet all of a sudden I'm supposed to believe he's going to drop an $11 million contract because for a stunt? No. He was a true believer. And I think that's, whether you're right or wrong, I think we're in a period now where kind of those left-right opinions don't matter, Jesse, right? Like, yes, there's a lot of bullshit on alt media. There's a lot of bullshit on Facebook. We all know that. Like, nobody picks up a meme and lives their life by a meme. Or if they do, they need help. But People don't look at memes and go, well, that's going to determine what I eat today, right? Like that's going to determine where I live today. And I think people are genuinely smarter than that. And we're in a position now where every decision kind of matters. So, but the other thing we understand too is, while particular pathogen information might be
I love
a fact check,
that's the best
right?
way I've heard it articulated. You saying this particular pathogen, which pathogen is in the air? Are you talking about? Yeah, sorry, keep going. This will not be banned off YouTube. I know that because the language we're using is so perfect.
Oh, because look, the thing is, even though that's fact checked, and even though anything Donald J. Trump might say might be deleted, or any of this, Harrison Ford's death announcement's never deleted, or two women having a baby without a man, and like that, that's never fact checked. Or men can have periods too. I mean, that's never fact checked. And I think people are onto this. They're onto the fact that we're, of course we don't need peer-reviewed scientific studies for everything. I'll take experience anytime over some 25-year-old pathogen believer.
Absolutely.
Okay. Jesse.
It's mostly Jesse asking questions. But
Pub Test X, dude. How you doing?
Do you know Pub Test? Do you know who that is?
I do. Long time.
Don't say his name. He's awesome. He's a good guy. Do you know what he did? He helped me with my Twitch. Hi everyone watching on Twitch. He helped me set up my page on Twitch. So now, so that's super helpful.
Do I need a Twitch? I don't have a Twitch. Do I need a Twitch?
Well, I don't know. You might. You can probably. It's probably a good idea to get one because I'm live right now on D Live, on Resolute TV, which is not my channel because I'm choosing not to use my own channel, and on Twitch. And I'm considering now utilizing Odyssey because I don't trust Rumble. Evelyn Ray told me that Rumble is Canadian, and if it's Canadian, you would be under their compelled speech laws, so you could probably get fined at some point. So a lot of people are like, yeah, Rumble's great.
They're not going to fine us here, surely. Really?
I don't know. Yeah. So I'm just a bit careful about those things.
Fair enough. Dark
but
Helmet,
anyway.
Yes, we are at the mercy of private companies that earn more than the Hydra struck. Yeah, that's what I find really fascinating, that nobody bothers to mention about this particular pathogen and the medication proposed.
Ivermectin.
Who are the only people who don't lose? You know, like, follow the money. We learned that. Who are the only people who don't lose, who have total freedom?
Is he the inventor of Microsoft?
No liability.
Is that who you're talking about?
Yeah, but also the companies who developed certain mRNA, and our governments give them a total free pass regardless of damage. I mean, back in 2012, pharmaceuticals were oil and gold profits annually ×3. There was no company in the world bigger, right?
No.
And yet somehow, yeah. Sorry, I don't want to get you deplatformed. All right.
No,
a terrible time for music, the 90s. Oh, shut up. I love
the music.
The 90s was.
I loved it. Pupte says that Lauren started a new Twitch. Yes, it's called Lauren Southern Live. Wow, Puptest, you're really obsessed with Lauren Southern. Yeah, so I guess she'll be going live. You and I think, were one of the very few people who knew that Lauren Southern was in Australia before anyone else did.
Yeah, you can't do that to the poor girl. But yeah, that was an interesting time.
I felt so special that she told me. I was like, oh, I know before anyone.
How many people? Yeah. Did you get in trouble from your friends for not telling them?
I didn't because I didn't. Yes, I know that. I remember we had a long phone call about that. No, I didn't because a lot of my high school friends who I'm still friends with don't really know who she is because it's just not their circles. And the only other person who did know I was living with at the time. And so I was, and so he didn't really care either way. So no, I didn't get in trouble. But I'm glad she's in Canada. I'm glad her parents get to meet her kids. That's really, really lovely.
Hang on, you have so many great comments here. Dark Helmet, this is obviously nothing to do with health. It's about implementing the CC.
The thing is, some of them are talking between each other as well. Do you want to keep going? Or because we've done the full hour?
Okay, we should probably wrap it up.
The thing is,
Jessie
though,
Bell,
I
I'm
want you
Irish
to meet
too.
Jessie.
Cool. I'm
What
happy
I'm
to do that.
saying is that like we can hang up now and then continue
Margot
on with
Huss.
me and Jessie
Margot
after.
Huss. That's fine. Margot Huss, of course.
Satanic.
She's always been lovely.
Oh, here we go. Satanic gates. I just realized what that meant. Took me a while to click to that.
Oh, Margot, thank you. Thank you for joining. She's always been very kind and pleasant and wonderful.
She's always polite. How do you ask the hairdressers to cut your? This is a mean question. Oh no, he's probably not being mean. Sorry, maybe he's not being mean.
Who is this though? Who is?
I don't know. This is a new person.
Who this is?
No, I don't know who this is. This is a new viewer.
Well, darling, this is the story. Today, I had because I've been going for the full like cut at the side.
It looks alright.
Is
it inspired by Donald Trump?
Yeah.
That was a joke. I'm sorry. I was just being mean.
That it's probably the worst joke I've ever heard.
I'm not a
So I literally they did both sides today.
You look very handsome.
Product, whatever they put in, I don't know. I actually should have asked. I don't really pay
But you
that
don't
much
use
attention.
product day to day? You're not one of those men who has a product in his bathroom that, you know, no?
No, I used to, and I will again. It will be some form of clay. I'm not sure. I don't
Such
know.
a metrosexual.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm not a metrosexual.
You're not? We said earlier during this show that you are a gay seeming straight man. Isn't that the same thing as being metro?
What is this, 2001? Yeah, maybe.
Okay, fine. All right, let's go.
All right.
Let's finish up the show and we'll do an after show, you, me, and Jessie.
Perfect. All right.
Okay.
I want to get the same haircut. Oh, okay. Well, are you in? Hang on, SO. You were being mean.
No, go ahead. Sorry, I'll pop that up.
Same haircut.
Sorry. There we go.
Victoria. Yeah. There you go. That's very kind. We'll just ask this. I don't know. The guy literally, who was it who said Cillian Murphy? The guy literally told me in the barber today the same thing. And so I said, "We'll cut my hair that way then." Peaky Blinders, and they know exactly. Apparently, all the hipsters get it. So just ask for the hipster Peaky Blinders 1920s thing, and that's what you get.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah, living in the past. Old speak, Margot. All right. Wrap it up.
Well,
take us home.
No. Okay, guys. So as of next week, the wonderful Luke Izaak will be opening is it a website? A brand new website, correct?
Mm-hmm.
We'll be relaunching oldspeak.tv. I will share it. So if you guys follow me on my main YouTube channel or on Resolute TV or on my Telegram or my Instagram, which lately has gone whoosh. I'm almost 2,000 followers. I'm doing an Instagram live once a week as well with really, really well-known Instagrammers. So my platform is slowly building before, the digital blackout takes place. So I will share anything that you put up. And yeah, so guys, please also, Luke, when we're done, I will add your links to the description box below, which I don't have. But yeah. So everyone, God bless you. Thank you for tuning in. And I don't know who my guest will be next week, but I have 2 people in mind, so we shall see. All right, guys, go ahead, Luke, do your plug, and we'll go.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, check me out next week, oldspeak.tv, and I'm at Luke Izaak on Twitter and Instagram. But yeah, by all means, Facebook, you can find me, and I'm just starting from zero, guys. So please follow me. I have a buy me a coffee up there at Oldspeak TV as well. So check it out. Thank you very much.
Sounds good. No worries. I'm just sending Jessie the link. All right, bye, guys. Oh, I just saw the private chat. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Bye.